Speaking of, Deputy Attorney General Lisa Monaco is calling out Republicans who argue the Justice Department is out to get former President Trump. Monaco says those claims are leading to an unprecedented rise in threats against law enforcement and government officials. Here's what she said.
Those claims bear no resemblance to the Justice Department that I know. The Justice Department that I know is filled with dedicated men and women, investigators, lawyers, prosecutors, analysts, professional staff who get up every day, Pierre. They get up every day without regard to who's in the White House or who's in Congress. I get something called urgent reports. These are reports that come in from the field, from U.S. attorneys all across the country. And on a weekly basis, sometimes more often, I am getting reports about threats to public officials, threats to our prosecutors, threats to law enforcement agents who work in the Justice Department, threats to judges. In fact, just this week, Pierre, we've had cases involving threats to kill FBI agents, a Supreme Court justice, and 3 presidential candidates.
3.
That's just this week.
That is Deputy Attorney General Lisa Monaco. So, Anthony, I'm curious what you're hearing from your former colleagues at the Department of Justice about all of this. It's no secret why it's happening. It's been a central strategy of Donald Trump and the people around him to attack anyone who they view as hurting him, no matter how justifiably.
Yeah, Willie, I can tell you from my time at DOJ, I was in meetings with both the Attorney General and the Deputy Attorney General when they were discussing some of these threats. And you want to talk about sober moments. This is something that they take very seriously. But, you know, there's also this recognition that it doesn't have to be this way. You all rightly noted that on more than one occasion, time after time again, Donald Trump is stirring the pot, and he's inspiring people to go out and harm or threaten to harm their fellow Americans, and all because of a big lie. And there are downstream effects of that. I think about Ruby Freeman and Shay Moss, these election workers in Georgia. I also think about people like the Secretary of State in Georgia, Raffensperger, and the governor of Georgia and the lieutenant governor. Willie, these are all people, Republicans, who voted for Donald Trump, who supported him, who wanted him to win, but they refused to go along with Donald Trump's big lie, this big conspiracy. And all of these people are receiving threats because of that. You know, my heart hopes that at some point no one in Colorado or any of these other states are harmed by these type of threats. But history suggests that there are going to be other downstream effects from these types of things, and people's safety is at risk because of Donald Trump and his incendiary rhetoric.
So, Anthony, what turns this around? We've seen this long standing deterioration in support of trust in big institutions, including law enforcement, and now these very urgent threats against officials. So what can be done about it to try to turn this around and make it better?
Susan, it's good to see you. One of the things, I was reading the newspapers this morning, and there's this wonderful piece in the op-ed pages, and it talked about how there is a segment of the population, Trump supporters, who still believe that there's people who are not blindly loyal to Donald Trump when presented with the facts. Now, this particular piece focused on the jury trial as the inflection point. But what we know, to your question, is that there are other inflection points here. There is a reason in the context of campaigns why individuals spend thousands of dollars to invest in door-knocking programs, because voters are receptive to hearing from their neighbors about things that they care about. And so I think that all of us have a sphere of influence and a circle of friends, and it's going to be incumbent upon all of us to educate those within our sphere of influence as to what the facts are in this election interference case. We're not going to have to wait necessarily on a jury trial, but all of us should use our own circle of friends and inform those to the facts in this case.
And Jack Smith is said to have a very, very strong case prepared here. MSNBC Justice and Legal Affairs analyst Anthony Coley, great to have your insights this morning. Thanks so much for being here.